right, everyone. Hello. This is the first time that I've ever done a live like this, so bear with me if I'm trying to figure it out. But my hope is that we will connect in with Astra'Luma, and this is an opportunity for you to put in the chat of questions that maybe that you would like to have answers to. So with that, I am going to allow you to, if you have a question, to go ahead and put it in there. And if not, that's okay too, because I can always just allow whatever comes in to come in. I'm just going to actually bring up uh, my YouTube on my phone so that I can see. Well, I may not be able to. I'm going to have somebody put something in the chat so that I can see if there's something in the chat, even if it's just a heart, just so I can see that there are questions coming through. Okay, so yes, you are there. Hi. Okay, well, this is your opportunity. Does anybody have so the other thing that can happen here is if you don't have necessarily a question, you can ask for transmissions. So I know there's a lot of energies that are going on. And so if it's something that you would like a transmission for something specific, that is also something that we can tap into. So transmissions for just stabilization of frequencies, because there's a lot of frequencies coming in with all of the solar flares. The other thing is that, let's see, here we go. Let's see. I would love to ask about developing more inner and outer structure. I feel so in flow and longing for more order. Only if this question feels in alignment. Yeah, okay. So, you know what? Let's just go hello from Portugal. Hi, Delphine. Oh my goodness, honey. It's so good to see you. I cannot wait to hear more about how Portugal is going. Okay, so I think what we'll do is let's do a transmission for what it feels like to stay in flow, but then also feel embodied and grounded in kind of the structure of life. And we'll just see what comes through. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go into channel, and then I'll come out and we'll look for the next question. All right, here we go, you guys. Blessings to each of you. We are the Astra'Luma, divine architects of DNA. We will first tap into question, staying in flow within structure. This is part of the experience of moving into fifth dimension. Time will begin to be experienced differently. This in itself will open to an element of feeling in flow, as the conscious mind will not connect in to periods of time, but will tap into flow of energy. This does not mean that structure is not present. To master time, or to be in flow within structure, is to use time, is to allow time to be a center point. What we mean by this is that consciousness can choose to be within time, use time to create specific grid systems or points of reference. How this would look like in your life, if you would like to connect it to structure, is what you want structure around. What would you like to experience in a grounded way? Or what would you like to bring into manifestation? What would you like to experience? Once you connect consciousness to what it is that you prefer, you simply open consciousness up. What this would look like is you would state the experience that you prefer. In that moment, the particles of reality and of the body will begin to align to the frequency of your desire. That desire can be experienced through time or in a timeline. And what we mean by that is you could create a desire and put it into a future pattern, and then have the experience of what it is to finally meet that point of reference within time. Now that time is bending, time is opening up, time is dissolving. This is all happening because consciousness is moving into fifth dimension. Time will not be experienced in the same way. So you can use a desire to learn to exist within time and use time as a structure. In this way, when you ask for something that you desire or manifest, you will simply ask for what it is that you desire, and then move your consciousness into the experience. You are doing this simply by focusing your consciousness on the particles that are forming within your desire. When you do this, you are working with particles of reality, as to create is to shift particles. As you shift particles, what it is that you desire comes into form and you have the experience. So, the way consciousness works within the higher operating system of the DNA is you state desire. In this case, to be in flow, but to experience structure. One of the things that you can experience within structure is the ability to manifest within and outside of time. Stating what it is that you would like to manifest. Invite you all to do this now. Simply bring into your heart space something you would like to experience or something you desire. As you are putting it into your heart space, bring your consciousness into the pineal gland. You're going to activate the frequency of what it is that you desire. Feeling the frequency release from pineal gland. This is the purest state of where you can hold consciousness within your desire. Feel the frequency begin to release from your pineal gland. Then you hold your consciousness or have the experience of what the frequency is doing. It is altering the particles of your body. It is now extending out to alter particles of your reality. From this space, you hold your consciousness in the new experience. When you go to live your life from this place, you are simply recognizing the shift. It is in the recognition of the shift that reality begins to meet the frequency of what it is you desire. The more pure you can hold your consciousness within the higher organization of particles, the quicker you will experience. But we would like to offer something now. As consciousness will begin to experience itself differently. The way that you have experienced consciousness up until this moment, as we move forward, as the frequency of humanity raises, consciousness will begin to experience itself differently. The invitation here is to have the experience without trying to make it happen. When you do this and you allow consciousness to open up, you will begin to experience consciousness in a new way. This will also open you to the space where you have the ability to dictate time. Okay, I'm going to go to another question here. This is a good one. How is food being processed now through the body in the new energies? Elizabeth, this one is, we'll go ahead and do this one. As the frequency of the body raises, food will be used differently. The first thing you may notice as the body raises in frequency is in the beginning, you could have more sensitivities. This is the adjustment period as particles move into higher frequencies. As the particles of the body begin to stabilize, the opposite will be true. Food will not affect the higher operating system or the body in the ascension process, meaning the two-strand biology begins to move into a higher operating system of the body. The body itself will be at a higher frequency. For this reason, food does not affect the body in the same way. So, if there are preservatives or chemicals within the food, it will not affect the body because the body's vibration is at a higher frequency than the food itself. After the body continues to raise in frequency, once you have stabilized and are able to eat without the density of the food affecting the new particles or higher frequency body, the body will then move into an even higher frequency. You will have a restabilization again. In this stabilization, the body will not need food as much. This does not mean that you will not eat. It simply means that the body begins to generate its own energy. Less food is needed. Once the body stabilizes in the particles of that frequency, it will continue on this until your body moves out of the frequency of needing food altogether. This does not mean that the body will not be of form. It will simply be in a vibrational state where food is not needed. Food will be an expression held through the DNA. This is part of the evolutional process. But in the beginning, simply know that food is an exchange of energy. In the vibration of the two-strand DNA, the body needs energy to survive. As you begin to ascend to higher particles, as particles restructure into the higher frequency of biology, as biology begins to move into experience of frequency, it will stabilize particles in a state where energy is no longer needed from outside of itself. The body will vibrate at a higher frequency. This will also be true for things that within the environment that once maybe were harmful to the body. When the body raises in frequency, it will be at a frequency where duality or separation is no longer experienced. Okay, that was a good one. I really enjoyed that. Okay, I would like a transmission to amplify 963 to override chemical responses, urges, old spirals still running. Okay, so this is kind of what we're in right now with the intensification of just the ascension process that we're in. So we'll do a transmission of 963. So I don't necessarily, we'll just see what they say. I don't like the word override. I feel like we just want to stabilize so that the frequency is higher, but we'll just keep it as is. All right, Sandy, here you go. This is for anyone that would like to receive a transmission of 963. We'll do activation, transmission 963. We'll first begin by connecting to pineal glands. Bring your consciousness into the center of your pineal gland, connecting in higher operating system. We will first set the particles in neutrality, 0 point. This will be done through the equation of our language. Kun bre she te ko push kun tore sa te kompara kutukachit ki. Manaro sho to ko bare she ti to ko cho sho. Manakashada kachur tu then releasing gamma light wave 963. We will use the probing system, releasing light waves. As the light waves move through every cell of body, connecting into nucleus of atoms, allowing light wave activate atoms. 963, source frequency, connecting frequency into electrons, allowing frequency to alter particles of body, allowing body to raise in frequency, bringing wave state to particles. We'll now transmit quantum equation for stabilization of particles in higher frequency. Kusren shekoto sharakantadri, kutumbare, kutush gundare sekacho shrakanta, allowing particles to stabilize. Now running frequency through neural pathways, allowing neural pathways stabilize in higher frequency. We will do this through probing system, releasing frequency now. You will feel light probes as it moves through the physical brain. This is simply raising the frequency of neural pathways, allowing thoughts to move into higher perspective, higher consciousness. Now running frequency through nervous system. The last transmission will be beyond our words. Releasing transmission now. Transmission is now complete. Okay, that was nice frequency. Okay, so we're gonna go to the nervous system is upgrading, but it feels like consistent anxiety. Anything that I can do to help ease that? Okay, well, I feel like that transmission will definitely help. And then let me just read this one. Did I just imagine that someone who claims to receive strong vibes addressed me with this? I don't know what that means, so I'll just ignore that. All right. Okay. So we'll go into the upgrade of the nervous system. The nervous system is, okay, we're just going to go in. As the nervous system begins to ascend, the physical body could see this as a destabilization or want to resist the change. We will do transmission, allowing nervous system to move into fascia system, as the fascia system allows the nervous system to calm as the fascia system will begin to be the receiver. Or you could see this as the transmitter of intelligence. As the body begins to let go of the lower frequency and the higher frequencies come in, the body goes through an adjustment period. If anxiety is felt, it's important to know that the mind is simply naming the experience because it does not understand what is happening. It is easy to see what the feeling is as anxiety. But beneath the anxiety, it is simply the upgrade of the nervous system. The frequency behind the upgrade is at a very high frequency. So the more that you allow consciousness to move into this frequency, the more that you will allow the feeling of anxiety to reveal itself as the high frequency that it actually is. We will do transmission for you to feel what it is, the higher frequency, as the nervous system is upgrading. We invite you to shut your eyes, move consciousness into pineal gland. We will now run a frequency and connect it to consciousness. This frequency is the frequency that is upgrading the nervous system. We're beginning the transmission, connecting consciousness, allowing you to have the experience of what the frequency is, not through naming it through the mind as anxiety, but for the purity that it actually holds. Releasing the frequency now. We invite you to just allow your consciousness to have the experience. You may feel light waves. You may connect into the particles of the nervous system as they are sending. Simply have the experience of the frequency without naming it. This will allow your consciousness to ascend with the nervous system instead of observing it through just the two-strand DNA. This also will open up your consciousness to having the experience of communication or receiving information through the fascia system. It's through the fascia system that you are connected in to the higher operating system of body. We'll continue the transmission, simply allowing yourself to drop into the body. Feel the body as a whole unit or as a unified field. The more that you allow consciousness to open up to the oneness so that your body holds, the less there will be the separation between consciousness and the chemical body or programmed body and the higher operating system of body, because all are working together as one. We will amplify frequency of ascending nervous system. This is simply for your consciousness to have the experience. We'll now stabilize the frequency. Okay, so that feels complete. That was a really amazing frequency. I'm curious, Jennifer, if you were able to feel the difference of what maybe the anxiety feels like, and then what the nervous system feels like in the more of that ascended state. So let me know in the chat if you could feel that difference. Okay. polarization occurring now. So, on a global level, yeah, I really love this one. So, let's do kind of a transmission. We'll do kind of a collective transmission right now to just connect into the frequency of experiencing reality through the unified field. And that it doesn't mean that we aren't seeing things for maybe if there is a polarity there, but in the polarity that we also see unity and oneness, because when it all comes down to it, what we name is what is bringing particles into a reality that we are experiencing. And to step into mastery, part of that is the ability to see the divine in all things. And that's not always easy to do. And it doesn't mean that when we're not doing that, we're doing something wrong. It simply means that that aspect of what we're seeing within the duality is a place that we can practice bringing it into the frequency of unity. Or another thing that I do, just before we go into this transmission, is when I experience something in duality, I step back and I just activate my heart space and I just send it love, right? Just send it love. There's nothing, I don't have to do anything, I don't have to figure anything out. And when I just step back and I just send it love, then my consciousness begins to experience it a little bit differently. And then I get to explore what that can be. And it's not about trying to make something happen, it's about exploring what it is from the higher frequency or from the frequency of love. Okay, so let's just all shut our eyes and even place our hands on the heart space. And we're just going to ask for transmission for all of humanity to experience the unified field together as one, experience love in all things. Okay. Activation of unified field. Simply bring consciousness into center of pineal glands, connecting into higher operating system of body. We will first activate coding system 11, 5, 1, 6, 9, 22. Releasing coding system, allowing coding system to move into electric responses of mind, connecting into electric responses of the way that the body receives information, allowing coding system to move through eyes, auditory, sensing, and knowing, allowing activation of unified field, allowing sensing system to move through frequency of source. We are now activating frequency of every cell of body. 963, stabilizing body and frequency, connecting consciousness to frequency. It is through this frequency that polarization becomes unified. It is the observation of the illusion that creates polarization. When body is an expression of source frequency and consciousness aligns, reality shifts. Running transmission, allowing consciousness to have the understanding that when it is experiencing polarization, it's simply having the experience of the illusion. To master consciousness and frequency of source, we'll release coding system for the experience, because it is within experience that you find, the illusion, is simply there to recognize when you are out of alignment with the frequency of Source within. When Surokosho Ruempokote, Amada Kashede Kodorotoko, Ese de Kanthro She Ko Tobaran Shikadnan, Attuning consciousness, coding system, Mashe to Kodoro, Dapatakashanakam, Manarasha to Kushurokonti, Wasakashanarenta, releasing frequency beyond our words, transmitting frequency into consciousness. Transmission beginning now. Transmission is now complete. All right, everyone. Well, I just want to thank you so much for jumping on with me live today. And if you like that, definitely let me know. Do a little thumbs up, or if you'd like me to do more of these. Another one I'm going to do, I might actually do it tomorrow, but I'll just go on live. But I'm going to see what a sound bath channeling activation would be like. So I'm going to set up my bowls and do some light language and do some transmissions. So stay tuned for that as well. But I'm just sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll get better at it, I promise. All right. Love you all.